Hey everyone, and welcome to another movie reading. Today's reading is Aladdin from 1992. It's obviously a Disney cartoon animated film. And yes, you heard me right, this will be a reading of the script or the screenplay for Aladdin and not a full movie screening. If you want to do that, you'll have to pay for it or buy it. This is just me reading the script, slightly dramatized, so that someone can listen rather than watching the movie. Make sure if you're not already subscribed to the channel and hit the bell so you always receive notifications. And without further ado, let's listen to Aladdin from 1992. Oh, I come from a land, from a faraway place, where the caravan camels roam, where they cut off your ear if they don't like your face, where it's flat and immense, and the heat is intense. It's barbaric, but hey, it's home. When the wind's at your back, and the sun's from the west, and the sand in the glass is right, come on down, stop on by, hop on a carpet and fly to another Arabian night. Arabian nights, like Arabian days, more often than not, are hotter than hot, in a lot of good ways. Arabian nights, 'neath Arabian moons, a fool off his guard could fall and fall hard out there on the dunes. Ah, salam, and good evening to you, worthy friend. Please, please, come closer. Camera zooms in hitting peddler in face. Too close, a little too close. Camera zooms back out to close up. There. Welcome to Agrabah, city of mystery, of enchantment, and the finest merchandise this side of the River Jordan. On sale today. Come on down. Look at this. Yes. Combination hookah and coffee maker. Also makes julienne fries. Will not break. Taps it on the table. Will not. It falls apart. It broke. Oh, look at this. Pulls out a Tupperware. I have never seen one of these intact before. This is the famous Dead Sea Tupperware. Listen. He pries it open, makes a raspberry sound. Ah, still good. Camera begins to pan to right. Peddler hurries to catch it. Wait, don't go. Stops pan. I can see that you're only interested in the exceptionally rare. I think then you would be most rewarded to consider this. The peddler pulls a magic lamp out of his sleeve. Do not be fooled by its commonplace appearance. Like so many things, it is not what is on the outside, but what is inside that counts. Another pan. This one's slower to left. Again, peddler rushes to catch up. This is no ordinary lamp. It once changed the course of a young man's life. A young man who liked this lamp was more than what he seemed. A diamond in the rough. Perhaps you would like to hear the tale. Peddler pours shiny sand from the lamp into his hand. It begins on a dark night. Peddler throws sand into the sky where it forms a starry nightscape, where a dark man awaits, with a dark purpose. The camera tilts down to find Jafar sitting on his horse and Iago on his shoulder. Gazim comes riding up to the pair. You are late. 1,000 apologies, O patient one. You have it then? I had to slit a few throats to get it. Pulls out half of the medallion. Jafar reaches for it, but Gazim yanks it back. The treasure. Iago squawks as he flies by and grabs the medallion. Ouch! Trust me, my pungent friend, you'll get what's coming to you. What's coming to you? Jafar pulls out the second half of the medallion. He connects them, and the insect medallion begins to glow. Finally, it flies out of Jafar's hand, scaring the horses, and is off towards the dunes. Quickly, follow the trail. They all ride off, following the glowing speck of light, until it reaches a large dune. It separates into two, and the halves plunge into the dune. All that remains are two glowing points of light on the dune. But then the dune begins to rise up, transforming into a giant lion's head, with the glowing points serving as eyes. At last, after all my years of searching, the Cave of Wonders. Cave of Wonders. By Allah. Now remember, bring me the lamp. The rest of the treasure is yours, but the lamp is mine. Jazim starts to approach the lion's mouth, which forms the entrance to the cave. He chuckles as he goes. Hawk the lamp! Hawk the lamp! Now that Iago and Jafar are alone, Iago opens up in normal English. Geez, where do you dig this bozo up? Jafar puts his finger to his lips and shushes him. Jazim reaches the cave, but is blown away by the roar of the cave's speaking. Who disturbs my slumber? It is I, Jazim, a humble thief. Know this. Only one may enter here. One whose worth lies far within. A diamond in the rough. Jazim turns to Jafar with a questioning look. What are you waiting for? Go on. Jazim hesitates, then moves 1 foot inside the cave. With great apprehension, he plants his foot down. Nothing happens. Relieved, he begins his trek again. Then, another roar comes. He turns back, but the lion's mouth slams shut and the dune collapses back to normal. All that are left are Jafar, Iago, and the 2 separated halves of the medallion. Seek thee out, the diamond in the rough. Iago unburied himself from the sand, coughing as he does so. I can't believe it. I just don't believe it. We're never going to get a hold of that stupid lamp. Just forget it. Look at this. Look at this. I'm so ticked off that I'm molting. He flies up to Jafar's shoulder. Patience, Iago. Patience. Jazim was obviously less than worthy. Extremely sarcastically, Iago says, Oh, there's a big surprise. There's an incredible... I think I'm going to have a heart attack and die from not surprise. What are we going to do? We got a big problem here. A big problem. Jafar pinches his beak shut. Yes, we do. Only one may enter. I must find this one, this diamond in the rough. Cut to a rooftop, where Aladdin rushes up to the edge, carrying a loaf of bread. He almost drops it over the edge. Stop, thief! I'll have your hand for a trophy, street rat. Aladdin looks back, then down, then at the bread. All this for a loaf of bread? He jumps off, landing on 2 ropes strung between buildings, with drying clothes on them. He skis down them, collecting bits and pieces of clothing as he goes. Finally, nearing the end of the rope, at a window, when a woman reaches out and slams the shutters closed. Aladdin slams into the shutters and falls to the street, his fall being broken by numerous awnings and the pile of clothes around him. He pulls up the top layer of clothes and is about to enjoy his bread when... There he goes! You won't get away so easy! You think that was easy? He looks at 3 women, laughing at him. You 2, over that way, and you, with me. We'll find him. Aladdin pulls a sheet over him and wraps himself as a disguise. He rushes over to the women. Morning, ladies. Getting into trouble a little early today, aren't we, Aladdin? Trouble? No way. You're only in trouble if you get caught. A hand grabs Aladdin's shoulder and yanks him back. It's the first guard. Aladdin's disguise falls off. I'm in trouble. And this time, a screeching sound from Abu. When the guard's turban is pulled down over his eyes, Abu dances on the guard's head, laughing. Perfect timing, Abu. Hello. Come on, let's get out of here. Gotta keep. He breaks into song. Gotta keep 1 jump ahead of the bread line, 1 swing ahead of the sword. I steal only what I can't afford, and that's everything. Aladdin battles a guard wielding a sword. He dodges a couple swings, then pulls down a guard's pants. Abu raspberries the guard, then dodges an attack. The guard swings at Aladdin, but destroys a barrel of fish. As Aladdin runs off, the guard pulls a fish over his lower body as a pair of pants. 1 jump ahead of the lawmen. That's all, and that's no joke. These guys don't appreciate that I'm broke. Aladdin and Abu scamper up a pile of barrels, then kick one down on top of the other guard. One at a time, the guards say, "Riffraff! Street rat! Scoundrel! Take that!" "Just a little snack, guys." Aladdin scampers to the top of the platform. The guards shake the platform back and fro, trying to knock him off. "Rip him open! Take it back, guys!" "I can take a hint. Gotta face the facts. You're my only friend, Abu." "Who?" the women say. Aladdin jumps off the platform to certain death, only to grab Abu's hand like an acrobat, and the pair swing into a harem. Oh, it's sad Aladdin, hit in the bottom. He's become the one-man rising crime. Abu finds a plate full of fruit and stuffs his mouth full like a chipmunk. "I'd blame parents, except he hasn't got 'em." "Gotta eat to live, gotta steal to eat. Tell you about it when I got the time." Aladdin and Abu exit. Cut to muscle men flexing to a crowd. The guards rush past. Cut to Aladdin and Abu behind the muscle man, matching his moves until they make a mistake and are discovered. One jump ahead of the slowpokes. One skip ahead of my doom. Next time, gonna use my nom de plume. One jump ahead of the hitmen. One hit ahead of the flock. I think I'll take a stroll around the block. A chase sequence in which Aladdin and Abu, pursued by the guards, race through a flock of sheep, hurdle a man sleeping on a bed of nails, and of course, one extremely large guard lands on him. Abu disguises himself with jewels until a shopkeeper discovers him. "Stop! Thief! Vandal! Outrage! Scandal!" "Let's not be too hasty." Aladdin is surrounded by guards in front of a door. The door opens, and a large, ugly lady comes out. "Still, I think he's rather tasty." Aladdin tumbles away, then puts his arm around a guard, acting like they're all chums. "Gotta eat to live, gotta steal to eat. Otherwise, we'd get along." "Wrong!" They all jump into a pile and fight. When they stop, Aladdin and Abu are gone. They are sneaking away in barrels. They run across a flaming pit, followed by guards who hop up and down, screaming in pain as they cross the rocks. Aladdin and Abu pass a sword swallower. Then Abu goes back, pulls the sword out of the swallower's mouth. Abu advances on the guards, who retreat in fear. "He's got a sword!" "You idiot! We've all got swords!" Abu sets the sword down gently and then runs. Aladdin and Abu are once again surrounded, with guards coming from left and right. He jumps up and climbs a robe trick being done on the street as the guards all crash into each other. One jump ahead of the hoofbeats. "Vandal!" One hop ahead of the hump. "Street rat!" One trick ahead of disaster. "Scoundrel!" They're quick, but I'm much faster. "Take that!" The guards chase Aladdin up a staircase into a room. He grabs a carpet and jumps out the window. "Here goes. Better throw my hand in. Wish me happy landin'. All I gotta do is jump." The guards follow him out the window, but they go straight down to the street and land in a pile with a sign, "Crazy Hakim's Discount Fertilizer." Aladdin uses the carpet as a parachute to land safely and out of danger. Aladdin and Abu high-five each other. "And now, esteemed Effendi, we feast." "All right." Aladdin breaks the bread in two and gives half to Abu, who begins to eat. But Aladdin looks over and sees two young children rummaging through the garbage for food. The girl sees him, then drops her find and tries to hide. Aladdin looks at them, then the bread, then at Abu. "Uh-oh." Abu takes a big bite of his food, but Aladdin gets up and walks over to the children. The girl pulls her brother back. "Here, go on. Take it." The children giggle with delight. Abu tries to swallow his bite, but he looks guilty. He walks over to the children and offers his bread to them. In delight, they pet him on the head. "Oh." Abu sees Aladdin walking into the daylight, where there is a parade going on. Aladdin peers over the shoulders of people. He sees Prince Ahmed riding on a horse. "On his way to the palace, I suppose. Another suitor for the princess," two bystanders say. Aladdin is startled as the two children come running out from the alley. The boy runs out in front of the prince's horse, startling it. "Out of my way, you filthy brat!" The prince picks up his whip to attack the children, but Aladdin jumps in front of them and catches the whip. Hey, if I were as rich as you, I could afford some manners. Oh, I'll teach you some manners. The prince kicks Aladdin into a mud puddle. The crowd laughs at him. Look at that, Abu. It's not every day you see a horse with 2 rear ends. The prince stops and turns back to Aladdin. You are a worthless street rat. You were born a street rat, you'll die a street rat, and only your fleas will mourn you. Aladdin rushes the prince, but the doors of the castle slam shut in his face. I'm not worthless, and I don't have fleas. Come on, Abu, let's go home. Aladdin makes the climb to his home with a view, then tucks in Abu for the night. Riff-raff, street rat. I don't buy that. If only they'd look closer. Would they see a poor boy? No, siree. They'd find out there's so much more to me. He pulls back the curtain to reveal the beautiful palace. Someday, Abu, things are going to change. We'll be rich, live in a palace, and never have any problems at all. Dissolved to the same shot, but during the day. Cut to an interior shot of the Sultan's chamber. The door bursts open, and Prince Ahmed storms in, missing the rear end of his pants. I've never been so insulted. Oh, Prince Ahmed, you're not leaving so soon, are you? Good luck marrying her off. Oh, Jasmine, Jasmine, Jasmine. The Sultan goes off into a garden looking for his daughter. He finds her, but is interrupted by Raja, Jasmine's pet tiger, who blocks him off. Raja has a piece of the prince's undershorts in his mouth. The Sultan grabs the cloth and yanks it out of Raja's mouth. Confound it, Raja! So this is why Prince Ahmed stormed out. Oh, father, Raja was just playing with him, weren't you, Raja? Raja comes over and allows Jasmine to pet and hug him. You were just playing with that overdressed, self-absorbed Prince Ahmed, weren't you? She cuddles with Raja, enjoying the moment until she looks up at her angry father. Ahem. Dearest, you've got to stop rejecting every suitor that comes to call. The law says, must be married to a prince. They walk over to a dove cage. By your next birthday. The law is wrong. You've only got 3 more days. Father, I hate being forced into this. She takes a dove out of the cage and pets it. If I do marry, I want it to be for love. Jasmine, it's not only this law. She hands him the dove and he puts it back in the cage. I'm not going to be around forever. I just want to make sure you're taken care of, provided for. Try to understand. I've never done a thing on my own. She swirls her finger in the water of the pond, petting the fish. I've never had any real friends. Raja looks up at her and growls. Except you, Raja. Satisfied, he goes back to sleep. I've never even been outside the palace walls. But Jasmine, you're a princess. Then maybe I don't want to be a princess. She splashes the water. Oh, Allah forbid you should have any daughters. Raja looks up and thinks for a second. Jasmine goes to the dove cage and yanks open the door. The birds fly off into freedom. She watches them go. Cut to interior of the Sultan's chambers. I don't know where she gets it from. Her mother wasn't nearly so picky. A shadow falls over him. He looks up startled to see Jafar. Oh, Jafar, my most trusted advisor. I am in desperate need of your wisdom. My life is but to serve you, my lord. He bows. It's this suitor business. Jasmine refuses to choose a husband. I'm at my wit's end. Iago again in the parrot voice. Wit's end. Oh, have a cracker, pretty Polly. He pulls a cracker out of his pocket. Iago looks terrified. Then the Sultan stuffs it into Iago's mouth. Iago grimaces as he tries to eat it. Jafar and the Sultan both laugh. Your Majesty certainly has a way with dumb animals. Iago glares at him. Now then, perhaps I can divine a solution to this thorny problem. If anyone can help, it's you. Ah, but it would require the use of a mystic blue diamond. Ah, my ring, but it's been in the family for years. It is necessary to find the princess a suitor. Jafar says the word princess with the accent on the second syllable, ses. He turns his staff with a cobra head towards the Sultan. The eyes of the staff begin to glow. The room darkens. Jafar's voice slows down and deepens. The Sultan's eyes get a hypnotized look. Don't worry. Everything will be fine. Everything will be fine. The diamond. Here, Jafar. Whatever you need will be fine. The Sultan removes his ring and hands it to Jafar. The room returns to normal as Jafar pulls back the staff. You are most gracious, my liege. Now run along and play with your little toys. The Sultan, still hypnotized. Yes, that'll be pretty good. Jafar and Iago exit. We follow them. When they're out of the room, the parrot spits out the cracker. I can't take it anymore. If I gotta choke down one more of those moldy, disgusting crackers, ugh. Jafar pulls a rope, which reveals a hidden entrance to his chambers. Calm yourself, Iago. Then I'd grab him around the head and whack, whack, whack. Soon I will be Sultan, not that addle-pated twit. Then I'll stuff crackers down his throat. The pair pass through a door and slam it shut. We dissolve to the exterior gardens at night. A shadowy figure walks through. We see that it is Jasmine in disguise. She reaches the palace wall and begins to climb it. She's tugged from behind by Raja. I'm sorry, Raja, but I can't stay here and have my life lived for me. I'll miss you. She begins to climb again and is helped by Raja, who begins to whine and whimper. Goodbye. She disappears over the wall. Cut to daytime on the street. Aladdin and Abu are up to their capers again. They are on top of an awning of a fruit stand. Okay, Abu, go. Abu dips over the edge and looks at the proprietor. To the passing crowd, he says, Try this, your taste buds will dance and sing. Abu grabs a melon and hangs there, distracting his attention. Hey, get your paws off that. Ba ba ba. Why, you get away from here, you filthy ape. He grabs the melon away from Abu, but in the foreground, Aladdin dips down and snatches another melon from the stand. Bye-bye. He zings back up. The proprietor takes the melon to the front, where he places it on top of the stack. He looks confused, like he has just done this. Nice going, Abu. Breakfast is served. Aladdin and Abu on the roof break open the melon and eat. We see Jasmine walking through the street. Pretty lady, buy a pot, no finer pot in brass or silver. Sugar dates and figs, sugar dates and pistachios. Would the lady like a necklace, a pretty necklace for the pretty lady? She is charmed by the action, but is startled by a fish thrust into her face. Fresh fish, we catch 'em, you buy 'em. I don't think so. She backs away, but bumps into a fire eater, who is startled into swallowing his fire. Oh, excuse me. He gulps, then belches fire from his mouth. Jasmine is disgusted. He is pleased and taps his stomach. Aladdin sees her, and a strange look comes over his face. I'm really, really sorry. He's obviously deeply in love with her. Wow. She pulls the hood of her cloak over her head. Abu sees him and jumps up on his shoulders, waving his hand in front of Aladdin's face. Hello. Jasmine stops at the fruit stand and sees a young homeless child reaching for a piece of fruit. She picks one up and gives it to him. Oh, you must be hungry. Here you go. The boy runs off. You better be able to pay for that. Jasmine, mystified. Pay? No one steals from my cart. Oh, I'm sorry, sir. I don't have any money. Thief! Please, if you let me go to the palace, I can get you some from the Sultan. Do you know what the penalty is for stealing? He takes her hand and pins it down on the table, intending to chop it off. No, please. The sword drops, but his hand is stopped by Aladdin's. Thank you, sir. I'm so glad you found her. I've been looking all over for you. What are you doing? Just play along. You know this girl? Sadly, yes. She is my sister. She's a little crazy. He circles his finger around his ear. She is shocked. The proprietor grabs him by the vest. She said she knows the Sultan. She thinks the monkey is the Sultan. Abu is picking a pocket. He hears this, then straightens up. Jasmine, playing along, kneels and bows to Abu. Oh, wise Sultan, how may I serve you? Wow, tragic, isn't it? He leans forward, picking up another apple from the cart with his foot, but no harm done. He walks over to Jasmine. Now, come along, sis. Time to see the doctor. To a camel standing nearby. Oh, hello, doctor. How are you? No, not that one. To Abu, whose pockets are bulging. Come on, Sultan. Abu bows to the crowd, and everything he's stolen from the cart falls out. Huh? What's this? Abu picks up what he can carry, and they all run off. Come back here, you little thieves! Cut to interior of Jafar's lab. Iago is running on a gear in a bizarre contraption. At the top of the contraption is a storm brewing. Huffing and puffing. With all due respect, your rottenness, couldn't we just wait for a real storm? Save your breath, Iago. Faster. He places the Sultan's ring in the contraption. Yes, almighty evil one. Iago runs faster. A lightning bolt streaks through the ring, passing into an hourglass below. The sands begin to swirl. Ah, sons of time, reveal to me the one who can enter the cave. The sand in the top forms the Cave of Wonders. It falls through into a storm, but it shows Aladdin climbing up a ladder, followed by Jasmine, who is covered in her cloak. Yes, there he is, my diamond in the rough. That's him. That's the clown we've been waiting for. Iago loses his footing and is sucked into the gears. Let's have the guards extend him an invitation to the palace, shall we? Iago goes flying past and slams into the wall upside down. Swell! Jafar laughs hideously, and the camera zooms in on the sandstorm with Aladdin in it. Finally, we dissolve into the real Aladdin, climbing to the top of the ladder, followed by Jasmine. Almost there. Jasmine climbs over to the top, but trips and falls into Aladdin's arms. She stands up. Oh, I want to thank you for stopping that man. Oh, forget it. He drops a pole. So, is this your first time in the marketplace, or? Aladdin pole vaults to the next building, leaving Jasmine behind. Is it that obvious? Well, you kinda stand out. He stares at her, still in love. She returns the look, but he realizes what he is doing and returns to normal. I mean, you don't seem to know how dangerous Agrabah can be. He lays a plank between the buildings for her to walk over, but as he is leaning down, she vaults over his head. He looks back in surprise. She tosses the pole to him. Both Aladdin and Abu's eyes bulge. I'm a fast learner. Right. Come on, this way. They go inside the roof of a building, dodging planks and beams as they go. Whoa, watch your head there, be careful. Is this where you live? Yep, just me and Abu. Come and go as we please. Fabulous. Well, it's not much. He pulls back the curtain and exposes the palace. But it's got a great view. The palace looks pretty amazing, huh? Oh, it's wonderful. I wonder what it would be like to live there. To have servants and valets. Oh, sure, people who tell you where to go and how to dress. It's better than here, always scraping for food and ducking the guards. You're not free to make your own choices. Sometimes you feel so... You're just... In unison, they say. Trapped. They look at each other, realizing they're perfect for one another. But Aladdin realizes where he is and breaks the look. He takes the apple out of Abu's hand and rolls it down his arm into the hand of Jasmine. So, where are you from? What does it matter? I ran away, and I'm not going back. Really? He takes a bite from the apple in his hand, then hands it to Abu, who has a disgusted look at his face. Why, you... Aladdin walks over and sits next to Jasmine. My father's forcing me to get married. That's awful. Abu appears from behind the princess and tries to steal the apple. Abu! Abu races up to a higher point, chattering and cursing as he goes. What? Abu says that, that's not fair. What? Oh, did he? Yeah, of course. And does Abu have anything else to say? Well, he wishes there was something he could do to help. Oh, boy. Tell him that's very sweet. Aladdin and Jasmine have been getting closer and closer, until Aladdin leans in to kiss her. He is interrupted, however, by the guards who have found them. Here you are! Aladdin and Jasmine. They found me! They're after you? My father must have sent them. Do you trust me? What? Do you trust me? He extends his hand. Yes. She takes it. Then jump! They both jump off the roof, fall and land in a pile of salt. They try to get away, but the exit is blocked by a guard. We just keep running into each other, don't we, street rat? Again, the guard's turban is pulled down by Abu, but more guards are here and block the exit. The first guard pulls Abu off his head and throws him into a vase. 3 other guards grab Aladdin. It's the dungeon for you, boy. Hey, get off me! Let go of him! Not realizing she is the princess. Look what we have here, men. A street mouse. He throws her down. Standing up and pulling off her hood. Unhand him by order of the princess. The guards suddenly stop and bow, forcing Aladdin to bow as well. Princess Jasmine? The princess? Peeking out from the vase. The princess? What are you doing outside the palace, and with this street rat? That's not your concern. Do as I command. Release him. Well, I would, but my orders come from Jafar. You'll have to take it up with him. The guards drag Aladdin out, bowing as they go. Getting a very pissed off look. Believe me, I will. Cut to the interior of the palace. Jafar emerges from his secret chambers. He slides the door carefully shut, but the princess comes storming in before he is finished. He slams it shut, pinning Iago inside the doorframe. Jafar? Oh, princess. Jafar, I'm stuck. How may I be of service to you? He spreads out his cape, hiding the door. The guards just took a boy from the market on your orders. Your father charged me with keeping peace in Agrabah. The boy was a criminal. What was the crime? I can't breathe, Jafar. Why, kidnapping the princess, of course. If you could just... Jafar kicks him back inside the door and slams it shut. Wow, that hurt. He didn't kidnap me. I ran away. Walking away as if shocked. Oh dear. How frightfully upsetting. Had I but known. What do you mean? Sadly, the boy's sentence has already been carried out. What sentence? Death. Jasmine gasps. By beheading. No. She collapses to the floor. I am exceedingly sorry, princess. How could you? She runs from the room crying. Iago finally makes it out through the door. He flies up and lands on Jafar's shoulder, coughing. So, how did it go? I think she took it rather well. They both get a sinister smile on their faces. Dissolved to Jasmine at night, crying at the edge of the fountain. Raja comes over to comfort her. She pets him. It's all my fault, Raja. I didn't even know his name. Cut to the interior of the dungeon. Rats scurry by, and we descend until we see Aladdin chained to the wall. Aladdin to himself. She was the princess. I don't believe it. I must have sounded so stupid to her. Abu from a distance. Yoo-hoo, Aladdin, hello. Abu appears at the window at the top of the dungeon. Abu, down here. Hey, come on, help me out of these. Abu stops, then begins chattering wildly, dropping to the ground. He wraps a cloth around his head and makes his eyes big in imitation of the princess. Hey, she was in trouble. She was worth it. Abu jumps on Aladdin's shoulders and pulls a small set of tools out of his pocket and then frees Aladdin. Yeah. Don't worry, Abu. I'll never see her again. I'm a street rat, remember? And there's a law. She's got to marry a prince. She deserves it. Abu finally frees Aladdin's hands. Ta-da! Rubbing his wrists. I'm a fool. You're only a fool if you give up, boy. We see an old man sitting in the corner that neither Aladdin nor Abu have seen before. Who are you? A lowly prisoner like yourself, but together perhaps we can be more. I'm listening. There is a cave, boy, a cave of wonders, filled with treasures beyond your wildest dreams. Treasures enough to impress even your princess, I'd wager. Listeners will note that the old man pronounced the word princess rather than the standard pronunciation of princess. The old man turns his back, and Iago sticks his head out of Jafar's old man disguise. Jafar, can you hurry it up? I'm dying in here. But the law says that only a prince can marry. You've heard the golden rule, haven't you, boy? Whoever has the gold makes the rules. He grins, showing a hideously bad mouth. So why would you share all this wonderful treasure with me? I need a young man with strong legs and a strong back to go after it. One problem. It's out there and we're in here. The old man walks to a wall and pushes open a hidden exit. Things aren't always what they seem. So do we have a deal? Aladdin looks at Abu, who shrugs his shoulders. Cut to a desert scene. We see Aladdin leading a horse with an old man and Abu on it. Dissolve to the Cave of Wonders. Who disturbs my slumber? It is I, Aladdin. Proceed. Touch nothing but the lamp. The cave opens with a roar, and the staircase appears in front of Aladdin. Remember, boy, first fetch me the lamp, then you shall have your reward. Come on, Abu. To Abu hiding under the shoulder of his vest. Aladdin begins to descend the staircase. He reaches the bottom and enters a golden chamber filled with treasure. Would you look at that? Oh, just a handful of this stuff would make me richer than the Sultan. Abu peeks out, sees the treasure, and then bolts for it. Abu! Abu stops in mid-run, hovering over a rug on the floor. Don't touch anything, we gotta find that lamp. They begin to make their way through the room when the carpet rises off the floor and begins to follow them. Abu gets the feeling they're being followed. Huh? He turns and the carpet lies flat on the floor. He continues and the carpet begins to follow again. Again, Abu turns back, but the carpet is rolled up and leaning against a pile of treasure. Abu returns to Aladdin and tugs his pant leg. Abu, will you knock it off? Again, the carpet follows, but this time when Abu turns, the carpet jumps to the other side. It reaches down with a tassel and pulls Abu's tail. When Abu jumps around, the carpet again goes to the other side. This time, Abu lands in a karate stance. Carpet reaches down and plucks Abu's hat off, and then puts it on himself. Abu sits thinking for a second, until the carpet waves a tassel in front of his face. Abu and the carpet jump, both scared, and run away. Abu tackles Aladdin and turns his head to look at the carpet. Abu, are you crazy? The carpet peeks out from behind a pile of treasure. A magic carpet? Come on out, I'm not going to hurt you. The carpet slowly comes out, shyly, then picks up Abu's hat and dusts it off. It flies over to Aladdin and hands the hat to Abu next to him. Abu screeches and jumps into Aladdin's shoulder. Take it easy, Abu, he's not going to bite. The carpet again picks up Abu's hat and hands it to him. Abu shakes his fist and screeches at it. Carpet begins to walk away sadly. Hey, wait a minute, don't go. Maybe you can help us. Carpet looks back, excited. It then flies over and wraps around the pair. Hey, whoa, you see, we're trying to find this lamp. Carpet motions for them to follow it. I think he knows where it is. They pass through a long cave until they emerge in a giant underground cavern. In the center of the room is a tall pillar, with a staircase going up to it. It is surrounded by water, with unevenly placed stones forming a bridge. At the top of the pillar is a beam of light. Aladdin begins to cross the bridge. Wait here. Abu sees a shrine with a golden monkey. The outstretched paws hold a giant ruby. Abu is hypnotically drawn to it. Aladdin climbs the stairs quickly. Carpet sees Abu and grabs his tail, trying in vain to hold him back. Aladdin finally reaches the magic lamp. This is it. This is what we came all the way down here to. He looks down and sees Abu break free of Carpet's hold and lunge toward the jewel. Abu, no! Abu grabs the jewel. There is a rumbling and the room begins to shake. Infidels. Uh-oh. Cave voice. You have touched the forbidden treasure. Abu places the jewel back into the paw, but the jewel and the shrine melt into lava. Now you will never see the light of day. Aladdin races down the steps, but they flatten into a ramp, and he skis down until he flies into the air. The water has turned into lava. He is falling towards it, when all of a sudden, Carpet appears and catches him. Abu is standing on one of the rocks of the bridge. He looks left and right to see rocks exploding into lava. Then Carpet races over, and Aladdin grabs him just as the last rock is exploding. Whoa! Carpet, let's move! Together they race back through the caves, dodging walls and falling debris. Abu grabs Aladdin's head and covers his eyes. Abu, this is no time to panic! He pulls Abu off his head and sees they are flying into a wall. Start panicking! Carpet goes into a dive and then through another cave. Finally, they emerge through the internal entrance. Outside, the cave begins to growl and close. Carpet and company are almost to the top when a boulder drops on Carpet, sending it to the floor. Aladdin grabs onto the rock wall and holds on. He sees the old man at the top within reach. Help me out! Throw me the lamp! I can't hold on. Give me your hand. First, give me the lamp. Aladdin reaches in and pulls out the magic lamp. He hands it up, and the old man raises it above his head. Ah, yes, at last, ha ha ha. Aladdin has climbed out with the assistance of Abu, but the old man kicks aside Abu and grabs Aladdin's wrist. What are you doing? Giving you your reward. Jafar returns to his normal voice. Your eternal reward. He pulls out a crooked dagger and is about to stab Aladdin when Abu bites him on the wrist. He screams, but lets go of Aladdin, who falls into the cave. The old man throws Abu into the cave as well. They fall. Carpet sees this, but is pinned under a boulder. It struggles to break free, and then does. It races up and catches Aladdin, but he has already hit the wall several times and is unconscious. On the surface, the cave roars up a final time, then sinks back into the sand. Jafar pulls off his disguise. It's mine, it's mine. He can't find it in his pockets. Where is it? No! We kiss fade to Jasmine's bedroom. She's sitting on her bed next to Raja, who looks sad. The Sultan walks in. Jasmine, oh dearest, what's wrong? Jafar has done something terrible. She looks as if she's been crying. There, my child. We'll set it right. Now tell me everything. Cut to the interior of the cave. Aladdin lies unconscious on the carpet. Abu tries to wake him. Aladdin, wake up, Aladdin. The carpet rises up, lifting Aladdin. He awakes slowly. Oh, my head. He looks at the entrance sealed in. We're trapped. Angry, shaking his fist at the entrance. That two-faced son of a jackal. Whoever he was, he's long gone with that lamp. Aha! Abu pulls out the magic lamp. Why, you hairy little thief. Looks like such a beat-up, worthless piece of junk. Hey, I think there's something written here, but it's hard to make out. He rubs the lamp. Suddenly smoke comes out of the hole. The lamp begins to shake and glow, but Aladdin holds on to the lamp. And our wonderful friend, the genie, comes out. 10,000 years will give you such a crick in the neck. He hangs Aladdin on a nearby rock. Then he pulls his head off and spins it around, yelling as he does so. Carpet pulls Aladdin down. Whoa, does it feel good to be out of there? Genie uses the lamp end of himself as a microphone. Nice to be back, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, where are you from? Sticks the mic in Aladdin's face. What's your name? Aladdin? Says his name as if he's discovered something major. Aladdin! A neon sign lights up with Aladdin's name on it, circled by chase lights. The sign changes to reflect the genie's upcoming line. Hello, Aladdin. Nice to have you on the show. Can we call you Al? Or maybe just Din? How about Laddie? Genie disappears, and then a dog wrapped in plaid jumps in. Sounds like it. Here, boy. Come on, Laddie. Aladdin shaking his head. I must have hit my head harder than I thought. Do you smoke? Mind if I do? The dog poofs into smoke and then back into Genie. Abu screeches wildly. Oh, sorry, Cheetah. Hope I didn't singe the fur. Hey, rug man, haven't seen you in a few millennia. Slap me some of that tassel. Yo! Carpet flies over and high-fives the Genie. Genie looks at Aladdin. Say, you're a lot smaller than my last master. Lifts his beer gut. Either that, or I'm getting bigger. Look at me from the side. Do I look different to you? Wait a minute. I'm your master? Genie slaps a diploma in Aladdin's hand and a mortar bore on his head. That's right. He can be taught. What would you wish of me? As Arnold Schwarzenegger. The ever impressive. Inside a cube. The long contained. As a ventriloquist with a dummy. Often intimidated. Tosses the dummy aside. But never duplicated. He multiplies into multiple genies who surround him. Duplicated, 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 duplicated. Says it like a ring announcer in a boxing match. Genie of the lamp. Right here, direct from the lamp, right here for your enjoyment, wish fulfillment. Thank you. Whoa, wish fulfillment? 3 wishes to be exact, and ixnay on the wishing for more wishes. He turns into a slot machine. Arm pulls down and 3 genies appear in the windows. That's it. 3. 3 genie caballeros come out of the slot. 1, 2, 3. Changing into Groucho Marx. No substitutions, exchanges, or refunds. The duck drops with the secret word refunds. Aladdin to Abu. Now I know I'm dreaming. Music for A Friend Like Me begins. Master, I don't think you quite realize what you've got here. So, why don't you just ruminate whilst I illuminate the possibilities? Genie lights up like a fluorescent light. Well, Ali Baba had them 40 thieves. Scheherazade had 1,000 tales. But master, you in luck, 'cause up your sleeve, you've got a brand of magic never fails. Genie produces 40 thieves who surround Aladdin with swords. Genie appears in his vest, then sticks his arms out and boxes the thieves into submission. You've got some power in your corner now, some heavy ammunition in your camp. You've got some punch, pizzazz, yahoo, and wow. See, all you've got to do is rub that lamp, and I'll say. A boxing ring appears, and Aladdin is in the corner, being massaged by Genie. Then Genie turns into a pile of fireworks and explodes. Then Genie appears inside the lamp and grabs Aladdin's hand and rubs lamps with it. Master Aladdin, sir, what will your pleasure be? Let me take your order. Jot it down. You ain't never had a friend like me. No. Genie produces a table and chairs, and then writes down things on a notepad like a waiter. Life is your restaurant, and I'm your maître d'. Come on, whisper what it is you want. You ain't never had a friend like me. Genie appears as a plate of chicken and then returns to normal, but enlarges his ear to listen to Aladdin. Finally, he explodes into 4 duplicate genies. Yes, sir, we pride ourselves on service. You're the boss, the king, the Shah. Say what you wish, it's yours, true dish. How about a little bit more baklava? The genie gives him a shave, haircut, and manicure, and then Aladdin appears in a comfy chair. Eh? Surrounded by the treasure and being fanned by women, the genie appears and fills the screen with baklava. Try some of column A, try all of column B. I'm in the mood to help you, dude. You ain't never had a friend like me. Aladdin rises up on a column of food with a giant A on top of it, then jump to another column with B on top. He falls off and is caught by a cushion held by Genie. He opens his mouth and his tongue turns into a suitcase. A miniature genie dressed like a magician comes out. The mini genie does a little dance with the genie's two giant hands. At the end, they surround a mini genie and squish him into nothing. Can your friends do this? Can your friends do that? Do your friends pull this out of their little hat? Can your friends go poof? Well, looky here. Can your friends go abracadabra, let her rip, and then make the sucker disappear? The genie pulls off his head, duplicates it, then juggles them. He tosses them to Aladdin, who juggles with one hand and spins one of his heads on his fingertip like a basketball. He tucks the heads back onto Genie, who proceeds to try and pull himself out of the hat at his base. He spirals around and around until he turns into a white rabbit. The rabbit transforms into a purple dragon, very reminiscent of Figment from Epcot Center. The dragon breathes fire, which turns into 3 harem girls, who dance around Aladdin. Just as he begins to enjoy them, they disappear. So don't you sit there, slack-jawed bug-eyed. I'm here to answer all your midday prayers. You got me bona fide, certified. You got a genie for a charge d'affaires. I've got a powerful urge to help you out. So what you wish, I really want to know. You've got a wish that's 3 miles long, no doubt, so all you've got to do is rub like so, and oh. Genie imitates what he is calling Aladdin, then turns into a certificate which rolls up and surrounds Aladdin. Genie pulls a list, written in Arabic, out of Aladdin's ear, which he uses to rub his behind, like drying off after a shower. Master Aladdin, sir, have a wish or 2 or 3. I'm on the job, you big nabob. You ain't never had a friend like me. The dancing harem girls reappear, and Aladdin leans in to kiss one. She turns into Genie, who zaps 4 dancing elephants into existence. To the other direction, he zaps in 4 dancing camels, and a grand finale dancing number ensues. Abu grabs as much gold as he can, but the genie wraps up everything into a cyclone, and it zaps away until they're all back in the cave. Genie has a neon applause sign on his back. Abu turns his hat over and sees that it is empty. So, what'll it be, master? You're gonna grant me any 3 wishes I want. Almost. There are a few provisos, a couple of quid pro quos. Like, rule number 1, I can't kill anybody. He slices off his head with his finger, so don't ask. Rule 2, I can't make anyone fall in love with anyone else. Head turns into a big pair of lips, which kiss Aladdin. You little putum there. Lies flat, then gets up and transforms into a zombie. Rule 3, I can't bring people back from the dead. It's not a pretty picture. He grabs Aladdin and shakes him. I don't like doing it. He poofs back to normal. Other than that, you got it. He looks at Abu as if plotting. Provisos, you mean limitations on wishes? Some all-powerful genie can't even bring back people from the dead. I don't know, Abu. He probably can't even get us out of this cave. Looks like we're gonna have to find another way out of here. They start to leave, but a big blue foot stomps down in front of them. Excuse me, are you looking at me? Did you rub my lamp? Did you wake me up? Did you bring me here? And all of a sudden you're walking out on me? I don't think so. Not right now. You're getting your wishes, so sit down. They all get on the carpet. Genie takes the form of a stewardess with lots of arms, pointing out the exits. In case of emergency, the exits are here, 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 anywhere. Keep your hands and arms inside the carpet. We're getting out of here. The carpet and passengers fly out of the sand, in the desert, and off into the distance. Cut to interior of Sultan's chamber. Jafar is there with Iago, Jasmine, and Sultan. This is an outrage, Jafar. If it weren't for all your years of loyal service, from now on you are going to discuss sentencing of prisoners with me before they are beheaded. I assure you, Your Highness, it won't happen again. Jasmine, Jafar, now let's put this old messy business behind us, please. My most abject and humblest apologies to you as well, Princess. He takes her hand to kiss it, but she yanks it away. At least some good will come of me being forced to marry. When I am queen, I will have the power to get rid of you. That's nice. All settled then. Now, Jasmine, getting back to this suitor business. He looks and sees Jasmine walking out. Jasmine? Jasmine! He runs after her. If only I had gotten that lamp. I will have the power to get rid of you, though. To think we gotta keep kissing up to that chump for his chump daughter for the rest of our lives. No, Iago. Only till she finds a chump husband. Then she'll have us banished or beheaded. Ugh. Iago has an idea. Oh, wait a minute, Jafar. What if you were the chump husband? He looks at Iago. What? Okay, you marry the princess, all right? Then you become the sultan. Oh, marry the shrew. I become the sultan. The idea has merit. Yes, merit. Then we could drop Papa-in-law and the little woman off a cliff. He dive bombs into the floor. Kersplat. Iago, I love the way your foul little mind works. Both laugh as we cut to an oasis in the desert, where Carpet is coming in for a landing. Genie, still as a stewardess. Thank you for choosing Magic Carpet for all your travel needs. Don't stand until the rug has come to a complete stop. As Aladdin and Abu get off, down the stairway formed by Carpet. Thank you. Goodbye. Goodbye now. Goodbye. Well, now, how about that, Mr. Doubting Mustafa? Oh, you sure showed me. Now about my 3 wishes. Dost mine ears deceive me? 3? You are down by 1 boy. No, I never actually wished to get out of the cave. You did that on your own. Genie thinks for a second, and then his jaw drops. He turns into a sheep. Well, don't I feel just sheepish? All right, you bad boy. But no more freebies. Fair deal. So 3 wishes. I want them to be good. What should I wish for? Genie is hanging like a hammock between 2 trees. Well, no one's ever asked me that before. Well, in my case, forget it. What? Tell me. Freedom. You're a prisoner? It's all part and parcel, the whole genie gig. He grows gigantic and his voice echoes. Phenomenal cosmic powers. Shrinks down, cramped in a magic lamp. Itty bitty living space. Genie, that's terrible. He comes out of the lamp, but, oh, to be free. Not having to go, poof, what do you need? To be my own master, such a thing would be greater than all the magic and all the treasures in all the world. But what am I talking about here? Let's get real. It's not going to happen. Genie, wake up and smell the hummus. Why not? The only way I get out of this is if my master wishes me out. So can you guess how often that's happened? I'll do it. I'll set you free. His head turns into Pinocchio with a long nose. Uh-huh, right? Whoop. No, really, I promise. He pushes the nose back into Genie's head and it returns to normal. After I make my first 2 wishes, I'll use my 3rd wish to set you free. He holds out his hand. Well, here's hoping. He shakes Aladdin's hand. All right, let's make some magic. He turns into a magician. So how about it? What is it you want most? Well, there's this girl. Genie's chest shows a heart with a cross through it. Wrong. I can't make anyone fall in love, remember? Oh, but Genie, she's smart and fun and pretty. Beautiful. She's got these eyes that just... and this hair and her smile. Genie sitting in a Parisian cafe with Abu and Carpet. Ami, c'est l'amour. But she's the princess. To even have a chance, I'd have to be... Hey, can you make me a prince? Let's see here. Has a royal cookbook. Ah, chicken a la king. Pulls out a chicken with a crown on its head. Nope. Alaskan king crab. Yanks out his finger and we see Sebastian the crab from Little Mermaid clamped on. Oh, I hate it when they do that. Caesar salad. A dagger comes out and tries to stab him. Es-tu brute? Ah, to make a prince. Looks slyly at Aladdin. Now, is that an official wish? Say the words. Genie, I wish for you to make me a prince. All right. Takes on square shoulders and looks like Arsenio Hall, then becomes a tailor fashion designer. First, that fez and vest combo is much too 3rd century. These patches, what are we trying to say, beggar? No, work with me here. He takes Aladdin's measurements, snaps his fingers, and Aladdin is outfitted in his prince costume. I like it, muy macho. Now it still needs something. What does it say to me? It says, mode of transportation. Excuse me, monkey boy. Aki, over here. Abu tries to cover himself with carpet, but Genie zaps him, and he flies over. Uh-oh. Here he comes. Aladdin and Genie are on a game show, where Aladdin stands behind a podium with Al on it. And what better way to make your grand entrance on the street of Agrabah than riding your very own brand new camel? Watch out, it's Fitz. A door bearing the genie's head on it opens, where Abu is transformed into a camel. He spits at the side of his mouth on cue, but the genie is not sure. Not enough. He snaps his finger, and Abu turns into a fancy white horse. Still not enough. Let's see, what do you need? The genie snaps his fingers repeatedly, turning Abu into a duck, an ostrich, a turtle, a 57 Cadillac with a license plate Abu 1. That one's a guess. I don't know cars, but judging by the tail fins, enough said. Finally, he's returned to normal. Yes, Essalalumbo, Shimindumbo, whoa! And on the keyboard of the spell, Dumbo. Abu turns into an elephant. Carpet struggles to get out from Abu's size 46 feet. Talk about your trunk space! Look at this action! Abu sees his reflection in a pool of water and then jumps into a tree. The tree naturally bends right back into the ground where Abu hangs on and looks at Aladdin upside down. Abu, you look good. He's got the outfit. He's got the elephant. But we're not through yet. Hang on to your turban, kid, because we're going to make you a star. We zoom out slowly with the oasis in the distance as fireworks begin to explode outward. Cut to a close-up of a pile of toys. Look for the beast here. We tilt up and see the Sultan balancing them. He carefully balances the last piece on top, then sits back and sighs. Jafar storms in, and the pile collapses. Sire, I have found a solution to the problem with your daughter. The problem with your daughter? Oh, really? Unrolling a scroll. Right here. If the princess has not chosen a husband by the appointed time, then the Sultan shall choose for her. But Jasmine hated all those suitors. He tries to stuff a cracker in Iago's mouth. Iago backs away. The Sultan absent-mindedly pulls the cracker back. How could I choose someone she hates? Iago is relieved, but the Sultan quickly stuffs the cracker in his mouth. Not to worry, my liege, there is more. If in the event a suitable prince cannot be found, a princess must then be wed to, interesting. Who? The royal vizier. Why, that would be me. Why, I thought the law says that only a prince can marry a princess. I'm quite sure. Desperate times call for desperate measures, my lord. He pulls out the staff and hypnotizes the Sultan with it. Yes, desperate measures. You will order the princess to marry me. I will order the princess to... The spell breaks momentarily. But you're so old. Jafar. He holds the staff closer. The princess will marry me. The princess will marry. The spell is again broken, this time by a trumpet fanfare of Prince Ali. What? What is that? That music. Jafar, you must come and see this. We see an advancing parade, led by what appears to be the genie in human form as a major. Make way for Prince Ali. Say hey, it's Prince Ali. Hey, clear the way in the old bazaar. Hey you, let us through. It's a bright new star. Now come, be the first on the block to meet his eye. Make way, here he comes, ring bells, bang the drums, you're gonna love this guy. The major mingles amongst different crowd members. Prince Ali, fabulous he, Ali Ababwa. Genuflect, show some respect, down on one knee. Abu the elephant marches through town with Aladdin, Ali, on his back. Now try your best to stay calm. Brush up on your Sunday salam, and come and meet his spectacular coterie. Iago is dancing to the music until Jafar glares at him. The major wheelbarrows 6 men up to Abu's trunk. They stand on each other's shoulders as Ali shakes hands. Prince Ali, mighty is he, Ali Ababwa. Strong as 10 regular men, definitely. He faced the galloping hordes, 100 bad guys with swords. Who sent those goons to their lords? Why, Prince Ali. The pile collapses on Ali, but a genie, trademark brand lightning bolt, zaps the pile and ends up holding them all up on an acrobatic wheel formation. The genie turns into an old man, and then a child, and then speaks the last 2 lines to the crowd. Carrying the camels, he's got 75 golden camels. In pops a typical parade commentator. Don't they look lovely, June? On a float, a chorus of women. Purple peacocks, he's got 53. In comes another commentator. Fabulous, Harry, I love the feathers. Genie is off screen. A giant balloon gorilla proceeds down the parade. When it comes to exotic type mammals, has he got a zoo? I'm telling you, it's a world-class menagerie. Genie pops in as a leopard, then a goat, and speaks the last 2 lines to the children from earlier. We cut to a balcony where 3 harem girls are joined by the harem genie. Girls in counterpoint. Prince Ali, handsome is he, Ali Ababwa. There's no question this Ali's alluring. That physique, how can I speak? Never ordinary, never boring, weak at the knee. Everything about the man just plain impresses. Well, get out in that square. He's a wonder, he's a whiz, a wonder. Adjust your veil and prepare. He's about to pull my heart asunder. To gawk and grovel and stare at Prince Ali. And I absolutely love the way he dresses. Jasmine has been watching from the balcony of the palace. She humps it off, then leaves. He's got 95 white Persian monkeys. He's got the monkeys. Let's see those monkeys. And to view them, he charges no fee. He's generous, so generous. He's got slaves, he's got servants and flunkies, proud to work for him. They bow to his whim, love serving him. They're so lousy with loyalty to Ali. Prince Ali. Aladdin throws gold coins out to the people who rush over to collect them. Abu and the parade march up the steps of the palace and inside them. The Sultan runs back inside the door of the throne room, but Jafar stands in front of the door. Suddenly it bursts open with Abu leading the way and crushing Jafar and Iago behind the door. Prince Ali, amorous he, Ali Ababwa. Heard your princess was a lovely sight to see. And that, good people, is why he got dolled up and dropped by, with 60 elephants, llamas galore, with his bears and lions, a brass band, and more, with his 40 fakirs, his cooks, his bakers, his birds that warble on key, make way for Prince Ali. More and more fanfare build up until Aladdin flies off Abu's back on magic carpet and flies down to the Sultan. Jafar slams the door shut. Sultan is clapping. Splendid! Absolutely marvelous! Aladdin takes a deeper voice. Your Majesty, I have journeyed from afar to seek your daughter's hand. Prince Ali Babwa, of course, I'm delighted to meet you. He rushes over and shakes Ali's hand. This is my royal vizier Jafar. He's delighted too. Ecstatic, I'm afraid. Prince Abubu. Ababwa. Whatever. You cannot just parade in here uninvited and expect to... By Allah, this is quite a remarkable device. He tugs at the tassels of the carpet, and they tug his mustache. I don't suppose I might. Why, certainly, Your Majesty. Allow me. He helps the Sultan up onto the carpet, and he plops down. Jafar pins the carpet down to the floor with his staff. Sire, I must advise against this. Oh, button up, Jafar. Learn to have a little fun. He kicks away the staff and carpet, and Sultan fly away. Iago, who is standing on the head of the staff, falls down, repeatedly bopping the staff with his beak as he descends. Sultan and carpet fly high to the ceiling, then begin a dive bomb attack, flying under Abu, scaring him. The flight continues in the background, while Jafar and Ali talk in the foreground. Just where did you say you were from? Oh, much further than where you've traveled, I'm sure. He smiles. Jafar does not. Try me. Iago lands on the staff. Look out, Polly! They all duck in time as the carpet whizzes centimeters over their heads. The carpet returns, and the Sultan chases Iago around the room. Hey, watch it! Watch with the dumb rug! The carpet zooms underneath Iago, who sighs, wipes his brow, and crashes into a pillar. He crashes to the floor, and his head is circled by miniature sultans on carpets, saying, Have a cracker! Have a cracker! The real Sultan begins his final approach. Out of the way! I'm coming into land, Jafar! Watch this! He lands. Spectacular, Your Highness. Oh, lovely! Yes, I do seem to have a knack for it. Carpet walks over to Abu dizzily, then collapses. Abu catches it. This is a very impressive youth, and a prince as well. Whispers to Jafar, If we're lucky, you won't have to marry Jasmine after all. I don't trust him, sire. Nonsense! One thing I pride myself on, Jafar, I'm an excellent judge of character. Oh, excellent judge, yeah, sure, not. Jasmine walks in quietly. Jasmine will like this one. And I'm pretty sure I'll like Princess Jasmine. Your Highness, no, I must intercede on Jasmine's behalf. Jasmine hears this and gets mad. This boy is no different from the others. What makes him think he is worthy of the princess? Your Majesty, I am Prince Ali Ababwa. He pricks Jafar's goatee, which springs out in all directions. Just let me meet her. I will win your daughter. How dare you? They all look at her surprised. All of you, standing around deciding my future. I am not a prize to be won, she storms out. Oh dear. Don't worry, Prince Ali. Just give Jasmine time to cool down. They exit. I think it's time to say goodbye to Prince Abubu. Dissolved to Jasmine on her balcony at night. We tilt down and find Aladdin and company in the courtyard. What am I going to do? Jasmine won't even let me talk to her. I should have known I couldn't pull this stupid prince wish off. Abu struggles with his elephant paws to open a banana. He squishes it and the banana squirts into his eye. He then tosses the banana peel into a heaping pile of the same. Genie, playing chess with Carpet. So move! Carpet does, knocking a black piece off the board. Hey, that's a good move. I can't believe it. I'm losing to a rug. As Rodney Dangerfield. Genie, I need help. As Jack Nicholson. All right, Sparky, here's the deal. You want to court the young lady, you gotta be a straight shooter. Do you follow me? Back to normal, wearing a mortar board. He points out his words on a blackboard. Tell her the truth. No way! If Jasmine found out I was really some crummy street rat, she'd laugh at me. He puts on his turban, which lights up as the genie. A woman appreciates a man who can make her laugh. Aladdin pulls the chain, turning off the light. Genie comes out holding the real turban. Al, all jokes aside, you really ought to be yourself. Hey, that's the last thing I want to be, okay? I'm gonna go see her. I gotta be smooth, cool, confident. How do I look? Like a prince. Aladdin flies up to the balcony on carpet. Jasmine is on her bed, sighing. Raja is by her side. From a distance. Princess Jasmine? Raja looks up and growls. Who's there? It's me, Prince Ali. Then he jumps to his deeper voice. Prince Ali Ababwa. I do not want to see you. No, please, princess, give me a chance. Raja growls and advances on him. Just leave me alone. Down, kitty. Over the edge of the balcony, Carpet is watching with Genie below. How's our beau doing? Carpet cuts his neck with his finger. Good, kitty. Take off. Down, kitty. He takes off his turban to brush Raja away. She looks at him, thinking she has seen him before. Wait, do I know you? He quickly replaces his turban. No. You remind me of someone I met in the marketplace. The marketplace? A bee buzzes around his head. I have servants that go to the marketplace for me. Why, I even have servants who go to the marketplace for my servants. So, it couldn't have been me that you met. She looks disappointed. No, I guess not. Enough about you, Casanova. Talk about her. She's smart, fun, the hair, the eyes, anything. Pick a feature. Princess Jasmine? You're very wonderful, glorious, magnificent, punctual. Punctual? Sorry. Beautiful. Nice recovery. I'm rich too, you know. Yeah? And the daughter of a sultan. I know. A fine prize for any prince to marry. Right. A prince like me. Buzzing in his ear. Warning. Right, a prince like you and every other stuffed shirt, swaggering peacock I've met. Rear end on fire, wearing goggles and crashing. Mayday. Why don't you just jump off a balcony? She turns and walks away. What? Stop her. Do you want me to sting her? He swats at the bee. Buzz off. Okay, fine. But remember, be yourself. Bee buzzes into his turban. Yeah, right. What? You're right. You aren't just some prize to be won. He looks disappointed. You should be free to make your own choice. Jasmine and Raja look at each other in confusion. I'll go now. He steps on the ledge and drops off. No! Aladdin pokes his head from over the edge. What? Now she's amazed. How are you doing that? She looks over the edge and sees the carpet. It's a magic carpet. It's lovely. Carpet takes Jasmine's hand with a tassel. You don't want to go for a ride, do you? We could get out of the palace, see the world. Is it safe? Sure. Do you trust me? She looks at him with the saying of that all-important line. What? He extends his hand the same as before. Do you trust me? She gets a sly grin on her face. Yes. She takes his hand and gets up on the carpet. It zooms into the sky, knocking them both into sitting positions. The music of A Whole New World swells. Jasmine looks back and sees Raja looking up at her questioningly. She gasps as they fly over the palace wall and into the sky. I can show you the world, shining, shimmering, splendid. Tell me, princess, now when did you last let your heart decide? Carpet zooms down through the town, stopping slightly to pick a flower. It gives the flower to Aladdin, who gives it to Jasmine. She smiles. I can open your eyes, take you wonder by wonder, over, sideways, and under, on a magic carpet ride. Carpet does as Aladdin sings, and then zooms into the clouds. A whole new world, a new fantastic point of view. No one to tell us no or where to go, or say we're only dreaming. Jasmine looks back and watches Agrabah disappear from sight. Carpet flies in and out of the clouds. A whole new world, a dazzling place I never knew. But when I'm way up here, it's crystal clear that now I'm in a whole new world with you. Now I'm in a whole new world with you. They each catch a small cloud as Carpet continues to fly. It then circles a pillar of clouds, giving a swirly look to it. Unbelievable sights, indescribable feelings, soaring, tumbling, freewheeling through an endless diamond sky. They join a flock of birds in the sky. One of them looks terrified and squawks. Carpet does somersaults and flips and at times puts Aladdin and Jasmine in freefall but catches them. They then zoom above the clouds where a starry night awaits them. A whole new world. Don't you dare close your eyes. 100,000 things to see. Hold your breath. It gets better. I'm like a shooting star. I've come so far. I can't go back to where I used to be. They zoom down over a river, apparently the Nile, for beyond the ship's sails are the Great Pyramids. They wave at a worker sculpting the complete nose of the Sphinx. He smiles, but chisels too much and breaks off the front section of the nose. A whole new world. Every turn a surprise. With new horizons to pursue, every moment red letter. They fly alongside wild horses running, and Jasmine pets one of them. I'll chase them anywhere. There's time to spare. Let me share this whole new world with you. A whole new world. That's where we'll be. They fly through Greece, where Aladdin grabs an apple from a tree and rolls it down his arm to Jasmine, who is now sure she is dealing with Aladdin and not Prince Ali. A thrilling chase, a wondrous place for you and me. Carpet hovers along over the lake, and we see the reflection of the moon in the lake. Fireworks burst, and we see the couple at a Chinese New Year celebration, sitting on a rooftop. It's all so magical. Yeah. She looks at him and decides to burst the bubble. It's a shame Abu had to miss this. Nah, he hates fireworks. Carpet looks up, realizing what is happening. He doesn't really like flying either. And now Aladdin realizes it. That is, oh no. She pulls off his turban. You are the boy from the market. I knew it. Why'd you lie to me? Jasmine, I'm sorry. Did you think I was stupid? No. That I wouldn't figure it out? No, I hoped you wouldn't, but no, that's not what I meant. Who are you? Tell me the truth. The truth? He looks at the carpet, who waves him on, giving him hope. The truth is, sometimes I dress as a commoner to escape this pressure of palace life. Carpet slumps down in defeat. But really, I am a prince. The feather on his turban falls down over his eyes. Why didn't you just tell me? Well, you know, royalty going down into the city in disguise. It sounds a little strange, don't you think? Not that strange. She flicks up the feather and cuddles with him. Carpet pulls a tassel under his chin and looks mystified. Dissolved to exterior of palace balcony, where Aladdin and Jasmine return. Carpet forms a set of steps, and she descends. Aladdin then descends just below the balcony. Good night, my handsome prince. Sleep well, princess. They slowly lean forward to kiss, but Carpet bumps him up, and they kiss sooner than expected. She walks away slowly, then turns and looks at him. Finally, she enters her room through the curtains. Yes! Aladdin falls back onto the carpet, who descends to the ground. For the first time in my life, things are starting to go right. He looks up at Jasmine's balcony, and 4 sets of hands grab him. Hey, what? A gag is tied around his mouth, muffled words. Abu, Abu! We see the elephant hanging from a net tied in a tree. Hold him! Shackles are placed on Aladdin's feet and his hands. Another guard ties Carpet in a knot around a tree. I'm afraid you've worn out your welcome, Prince Abubu. Walks away. Make sure he's never found. A guard hits him in the head and he falls unconscious. Cut to a cliff where a guard laughs as Aladdin's body drops into the water. He is conscious now, but his feet are tied to a rock. The rock hits the sea bottom. Then the turban lands, and the lamp tumbles out. He sees this and struggles to rub the lamp. However, he loses consciousness and falls to the floor. The lamp unsettles by his movement, rolls down and rubs against his hands. It shakes, and Genie emerges with a bath brush, rubber ducky, and shower cap. Never fails. Get in a bath and there's a rub at the lamp. Squeaks at the duck. Hello? Sees unconscious Aladdin. Al. Kid, snap out of it. You can't cheat on this one. I can't help you unless you make a wish. You have to say, Genie, I want you to save my life. Got it? Okay, come on, Aladdin. He grabs Aladdin by the shoulders and shakes him. His head goes up and then falls. I'll take that as a yes. His head turns into a siren. Wooga, wooga. Turns into a submarine. Up. Scope. He babbles in something that sounds like German. On the surface, a giant waterspout emerges and lands on top of the cliff. Aladdin reawakes and coughs the water out of his lungs. Don't you scare me like that! Genie, he can't think of a way to say it, so they hug each other. Thanks, Genie. Oh, wow. I'm getting fond of you, kid. Not that I want to pick out curtains or anything. Cut to Jasmine in her room, humming A Whole New World and brushing her hair. The Sultan appears in one of the double doors, hypnotized. Jasmine? Oh, Father, I just had the most wonderful time. I'm so happy. Sultan, still monotone from the hypnosis. You should be, Jasmine. I have chosen a husband for you. What? The other door opens and reveals Jafar. You will wed Jafar. Jasmine gasps at the sight of him. You're speechless, I see. A fine quality in a wife. I will never marry you. She goes to the Sultan. Father, I choose Prince Ali. Prince Ali left. A quick pan finds Aladdin standing in the doorway to the balcony. Better check your crystal ball again, Jafar. Prince Ali. Jafar gasps at the sight of Aladdin. How in the... Tell them the truth, Jafar. You tried to have me killed. What? He goes to the Sultan. Ridiculous nonsense, Your Highness. He is obviously lying. He brings the staff closer to Sultan's face. Obviously lying. Aladdin sees the staff with its glowing eyes. Father, what's wrong with you? I know. Aladdin grabs the staff and smashes it on the floor. Jafar flinches and the spell is broken for good. Oh my. Your Highness, Jafar has been controlling you with this. He advances the staff. What? Jafar, you traitor! The trio advances on Jafar. Your Majesty, all of this can be explained. Guards! Guards! Well, that's it. We're dead. Forget about it. Just dig a grave for both of us. We're dead. But Jafar sees the lamp in Aladdin's pocket. He makes a move but is grabbed by guards. Arrest Jafar at once! This is not done yet, boy. Jafar pulls a vial from his pocket. Aladdin sees this and rushes him, but Jafar throws the vial to the floor. A large red cloud appears, and when it is gone, so is Jafar. Find him! Search everywhere! Jasmine, are you all right? Yes. They lean in to kiss, but the Sultan barges between them. Jafar, my most trusted counselor, plotting against me all this time. Just horrible. How will I ever... He stops in mid-sentence and looks at the pair. Can it be true? My daughter has finally chosen a suitor? She nods. Praise Allah! You brilliant boy, I could kiss you I won't, I'll leave that to my... You two will be wed at once. Yes, and you'll be happy and prosperous, and then, my boy, you will be Sultan. Sultan? Yes, a fine, upstanding youth like yourself, a person of your unimpeachable moral character, is exactly what this kingdom needs. Aladdin looks concerned at this. Cut to the interior of Jafar's chambers. Jafar and Iago enter. We gotta get out of here. I gotta start packing, Your Highness. Only essentials. Iago starts throwing things out of his cage. Jafar smiles broadly. Travel light. Bring the guns, the weapons, the knives. Stops and takes out a picture of himself and Jafar. How about this picture? I don't know. I'm making a weird face in it. Jafar starts to laugh wildly. Oh boy, he's got nuts. He's cracked. Iago flies down to him and knocks on his head. Jafar! Jafar! Get a grip, Jafar! Jafar grabs him around the neck. Good grip. Prince Ali is nothing more than that ragged urchin Aladdin. He has the lamp, Iago. Why, that miserable... But we are going to relieve him of it. Me? Sultan? They want me to be Sultan? Genie comes out of the lamp. Huzzah! Hail the conquering hero! Turns into a one-man band. He sees Aladdin walk away with his head hung. He stops, scratches his head, comes up with an idea, then zooms over to Aladdin. He holds up his hand like a director scoping a picture, and we look through them. Aladdin, you've just won the heart of the princess. What are you going to do next? Aladdin looks at him, then walks away in sadness to the bed, where he falls on it and sighs. Genie again is confused, then goes to him and pulls out a script labeled Aladdin, whispering, Psst, your line is, I'm going to free the genie. Anytime. Genie, I can't. Sure you can. You just go, Genie, I wish you free. He grabs Aladdin's head and uses him as a mock ventriloquist's dummy. Aladdin pulls away. I'm serious. Look, I'm sorry, I really am, but they want to make me Sultan. No, they want to make Prince Ali Sultan. Without you, I'm just Aladdin. Al, you won. Because of you. The only reason anyone thinks I'm anything is because of you. What if they find out I'm not really a prince? What if Jasmine finds out? I'll lose her, Genie. I can't keep this up on my own. I can't wish you free. Hey, I understand. After all, you've lied to everyone else. Hey, I was beginning to feel left out. Now, if you'll excuse me, master. He says the last word in disgust, and then poofs back into the lamp. Oh, Genie, I'm really sorry. A tongue comes out of the spout and raspberries him. Well, fine. He slams a pillow on top of the lamp. Then just stand there. He looks at Abu and Carpet. What are you guys looking at? They both leave. Look, I'm sorry. Wait, Abu. Wait, I didn't... Come on. What am I doing? Genie's right. I gotta tell Jasmine the truth. Ali, oh Ali, will you come here? Aladdin putting on his turban. Well, here goes. He walks into the garden. Jasmine, where are you? We see Iago wearing a beak and standing on stilts next to a flamingo in the pond. He is imitating Jasmine's voice. In the menagerie. Hurry. I'm coming. We see Aladdin hurry past, not noticing the birds. Iago laughs, then turns around and looks into the face of a flamingo who is panting. Duh. You got a problem, Pinky. He sweeps the bird's feet from under it. Iago runs into the palace and finds the lamp under the pillow. Boy, Jafar's gonna be happy to see you. Stretches his face like Jafar's and imitates him. Good work, Iago. Go on. No, really? On a scale of 1 to 10, you are an 11. Jafar, you're too kind. I'm embarrassed. I'm blushing. He flies away with the lamp. Cut to the palace entrance. The Sultan is standing on top, making an announcement to the people. People of Agrabah, my daughter has finally chosen a suitor. Cut to behind the curtain where Jasmine is peeking. Aladdin appears at the bottom of the stairs. Jasmine? Ali, where have you been? There's something I've got to tell you. The whole kingdom has turned out for Father's announcement. No, but Jasmine, listen to me, please. Good luck. She pushes him out onto the platform with the Sultan, where he overlooks the entire crowd. Ali Ababwa! Oh boy. Far above, Iago and Jafar watch through a window. Look at them, cheering that little pipsqueak. Let them cheer. He lifts the lamp and rubs it. Genie comes out. You know, Al, I'm getting... He turns and sees Jafar. Really, I don't think you're him. He descends and consults a playbill. Tonight, the role of Al will be played by a tall, dark, and sinister, ugly man. I am your master now. He throws Genie to the ground and puts his foot on Genie's face. I was afraid of that. Genie, grant me my first wish. I wish to rule on high as Sultan. Cut to exterior where dark clouds circle the castle. The castle shakes. The roof rips off, and the Sultan and Aladdin duck. Whoa! Bless my soul, what is this? What's going on? His turban lifts off his head. When he grabs it, his whole body flies up, then is stripped of all of his clothing except his boxer shorts. The clothing reappears on Jafar. Jafar, you vile betrayer. That's Sultan, vile betrayer to you. Oh yeah, we'll see about that. Pulls off his own turban, but finds it empty. The lamp! Finders keepers, Abu-Boo. They both look up and see a giant genie lift the palace into the clouds. Aladdin whistles and Carpet flies up to greet him. They fly up near Genie's head. Genie, no! Sorry, kid. I got a new master now. He places the palace on top of the mountain. Jafar, I order you to stop. There's a new order now. My order. Finally, you will bow to me. The Sultan bows, but Jasmine does not. We'll never bow to you. Why am I not surprised? If you will not bow before a Sultan, then you will cower before a sorcerer. To Genie. Genie, my second wish. I wish to be the most powerful sorcerer in the world. Genie extends his finger. Aladdin tries to stop him, but he cannot. And another genie, trademark brand lightning bolt, strikes Jafar, returning him to his normal look. Ladies and gentlemen, a warm Agrabah welcome for Sorcerer Jafar. Now where were we? Ah yes, abject humiliation. He zaps Jasmine and the Sultan with his staff, and they both bow to him. Raja comes running at him. He zaps Raja, and the tiger turns into a kitty cat. Down, boy. Oh, princess. Lifts her chin with his staff. There's someone I'm dying to introduce you to. Aladdin off camera. Jafar, get your hands off her. Jafar zaps Aladdin. The carpet flies away. Prince Ali, yes, it is he, but not as you know him. Read my lips and come to grips with reality. Jafar brings the two of them closer in the air. Yes, meet a blast from your past, whose lies were too good to last. Say hello to your precious Prince Ali. Jafar zaps Ali back to Aladdin. Or should we say Aladdin? Jasmine, I tried to tell you. So Ali turns out to be merely Aladdin, just a con. Need I go on? Take it from me. His personality flaws give him adequate cause to send him packing on a one-way trip, so his prospects take a terminal dip. His assets frozen, the venue chosen is the ends of the earth. Whoopee. So long. Goodbye, see ya. Ex-Prince Ali. Jafar has zapped Abu back to normal. He sends the two of them into a tall pillar, and then launches it like a rocket, but not before Carpet can get in. We fade to black, then we see a snowy wasteland, where the pillar crashes and rolls. It finally comes to a stop. Aladdin emerges, obviously very cold. Abu! Abu! He looks back at a shivering pile of snow. Oh, this is all my fault. I should have freed Genie when I had the chance. He digs out Abu and cradles him inside his vest. Abu, are you okay? I'm sorry, Abu. I made a mess of everything somehow. I gotta go back and set things right. He starts to walk through the snow, and he eventually steps on a frozen carpet. Carpet! He looks up and sees Carpet is pinned by the pillar. He tries to tug and free Carpet. He can't do it, so he begins to remove snow from the base of the pillar. Abu, start digging! That's it! Finally, enough snow has been removed, and the pillar begins to roll. Aladdin runs away, looks back, then slides into place. The pillar rolls over him, and when it is gone, Aladdin and Abu are left sitting in the patch of snow made by the window of the pillar. Yeah, all right. He looks up at his turban made out of scared Abu. Carpet shakes off the snow and rushes over to pick them up. Now, back to Agrabah. Let's go. We cut back to exterior long shot of Agrabah, shrouded in red clouds. We cut to the interior and slow zoom of the throne room. Iago has the Sultan tied up like a marionette, and Jasmine is chained next to the throne. Puppet ruler want a cracker? Here's your cracker. Shove 'em all right down your throat. Here, have lots. Jafar pulls the chain, and Jasmine walks up to him holding an apple. Leave him alone. Iago stops for a second, then continues. It pains me to see you reduced to this, Jasmine. He takes a bite out of the apple she is holding. A beautiful desert bloom such as yourself should be on the arm of the most powerful man in the world. He waves his finger and a crown appears. What do you say, my dear? Why, with you as my queen. She picks up a glass of wine and throws it in his face. Never! I'll teach you some respect. She falls back as he raises his hand to slap her, and then he stops. Genie, I have decided to make my final wish. I wish for Princess Jasmine to fall desperately in love with me. We see Aladdin race back into town. Master, there are a few addendas, some quid pro quo. Don't talk back to me, you stupid blue lout. You will do what I order you to do, slave. Jasmine looks up and sees Aladdin in the window, motioning her to play along. She stands and puts a crown on her head. Jafar, I never realized how incredibly handsome you are. The genie's jaw drops. That's better. He pulls the genie's jaw up like a shade. Now, pussycat, tell me more about myself. You're tall, well-dressed. Jafar walks over to her. Aladdin jumps down with Abu, and Genie sees them. Al, little buddy. Shh. Genie literally zips his mouth shut, and then unzips it. Al, I can't help you. I work for Senor Psychopath now. His head turns to Jafar, and then back. Hey, I'm a street rat, remember? He re-zips Genie's mouth. I'll improvise. He slides down a pile of coins and hides close to Jafar and Jasmine. Jafar's back is to Aladdin. Go on. And your beard is so twisted. She has her arms around him. She pretends to twist with her finger, but she is actually motioning for Aladdin to come over. He makes his move. Iago sees him. Jafar! Abu grabs him and covers his mouth. And the street rat? What street rat? They are about to kiss when Iago manages to knock over a bowl. Jafar turns to look, but Jasmine grabs him and kisses him. Aladdin looks disgusted. Iago and Abu both look disgusted. Yuck! That was... He sees Aladdin's reflection in her crown. You! How many times do I have to kill you, boy? He zaps Aladdin. Jasmine rushes him, and he throws her to the ground. Aladdin rushes and grabs the staff. Get the lamp! Jasmine runs to it. Jafar, however, shakes off Aladdin, then zaps her into an hourglass. Princess, your time is up. Sand begins to fall from the top onto her. Jasmine! Oh, nice shot, Jafar. He is knocked out by Abu. Abu reaches for the lamp. Don't toy with me! He is zapped into a toy monkey. Abu! Carpet rushes in. Things are unraveling fast now, boy. Carpet is zapped and unravels. Aladdin again rushes for the lamp. Get the point? His path is blocked by large swords sticking in the floor. Jafar grabs the lamp and laughs hideously. Aladdin pulls a sword out of the floor. I'm just getting warmed up. He breathes a ring of fire around Aladdin. Are you afraid to fight me yourself, you cowardly snake? A snake, am I? Perhaps you'd like to see how snake-like I can be. He smiles broadly, and we see a snake's tongue come out from behind his teeth. He then turns into a giant cobra, and the ring of fire around Aladdin becomes part of the snake encircling Aladdin. The snake Jafar makes moves on Aladdin, and on the third try, Aladdin swings the sword and hits Jafar. Cut to genies wearing A sweaters as cheerleaders. Rick'em rock'em rack'em rake, stick that sword into that snake. You stay out of this. Genie waving a tiny pennant with a J on it. Weakly. Jafar, he's our man. If he can't do it, great! Aladdin uses the distraction to make a break for the hourglass where Jasmine is trapped. However, Jafar sees this and blocks the path. Aladdin is thrown away and he loses his sword. Aladdin! Aladdin jumps on a large gem and slides across the floor, grabbing the sword on his way. He turns a corner, but the pursuing snake cannot, and the front half of Jafar crashes through a wall and hangs outside the palace. Aladdin jumps on the snake's back and stabs it. Jafar screams in agony. Aladdin tries to free the princess. Hang on, Jasmine. He is about to hit the glass with his sword when Jafar grabs him. He laughs hideously. You little fool. You thought you could defeat the most powerful being on earth. With Genie coming up behind Iago, Iago says, Squeeze him, Jafar. Squeeze him like a... Genie elbows him out of the way. Without the genie, boy, you're nothing. Aladdin has an idea. The genie. The genie. The genie has more power than you'll ever have. What? He gave you your power, and he can take it away. Al, what are you doing? What are you bringing me into this? Face it, Jafar. You're just second best. You're right. His power does exceed my own, but not for long. Jafar circles around the genie. The boy's crazy. He's a little punch drunk. One too many hits with the snake. His hand turns into a snake and hits his head with it. Slave, I make my third wish. I wish to be an all-powerful genie. Genie reluctantly. All right. Your wish is my command. Way to go, Al. Genie zaps Jafar with the last Genie trademark brand lightning bolt. Jafar's snake form dissipates, and he turns into a genie. We see Jasmine's raised hand disappear under the sand. Aladdin runs over and finally smashes the glass. Sand and the princess pour out. Yes, the power, the absolute power. Aladdin, what have you done? Trust me. A black lamp appears at Jafar's base. Jafar is busy conjuring. The universe is mine to command, to control. Not so fast, Jafar. Aren't you forgetting something? Jafar looks down questioningly. You want to be a genie? You got it. And everything that goes with it. Shackles appear on Jafar's wrists. No! I'm getting out of here. Come on, you're a genie. I don't want to... Iago tries to fly away, but is sucked in with Jafar. Aladdin. Phenomenal cosmic powers. Itty-bitty living space. Al, you little genius, you! Abu turns back to normal. The carpet re-ravels. Jasmine, the Sultan, and Raja are standing together. Raja jumps into the arms of the Sultan when they are all transformed. The Sultan is crushed because of the weight of the new Raja. The palace reappears where it used to be in the city. Aladdin is left holding the new lamp. Both from inside the lamp, Get your blasted beak out of my face! Oh, shut up, you moron! Don't tell me to shut up. Genie says, Allow me. He takes the lamp and goes to the balcony. He's now wearing a baseball cap. He winds up as if to throw the lamp, but opens his palm flat and flicks it out into the desert with his finger. 10,000 years in a cave of wonders ought to chill him out. Jafar and Iago continue to argue as they fade out. Jasmine walks over to Aladdin. They hold hands, but they both look sad. Jasmine, I'm sorry I lied to you about being a prince. I know why you did. Well, I guess this is goodbye? Genie pokes his head around the corner, shocked at what he is hearing. Oh, that stupid law. This isn't fair. I love you. Genie wipes away a tear. Al, no problem. You still got one wish left. Just say the word and you're a prince again. But Genie, what about your freedom? Hey, it's only an eternity of servitude. There is love. He leans down next to her. Al, you're not going to find another girl like her in a million years. Believe me, I know, I've looked. Jasmine, I do love you, but I've got to stop pretending to be something I'm not. I understand. They take one final look into each other's eyes, and then Aladdin turns to the genie. Genie, I wish for your freedom. One bona fide prince pedigree coming up. What? He holds the lamp up to Genie. Genie, you're free. A transformation scene ensues, in which the shackles fall off the genie's wrist and the lamp falls uselessly to the ground. Genie picks it up and looks at it. Genie can't believe it. Huh, I'm free. I'm free. He hands the lamp to Aladdin. Quick, quick, wish for something outrageous. Say, I want the Nile. I wish for the Nile. Try that. I wish for the Nile. No way! He laughs hysterically. He bounces around the balcony like a pinball. Oh, does that feel good? I'm free at last. I'm hitting the road. I'm off to see the world. He is packing a suitcase, but he looks down and sees Aladdin looking very sad. Genie, I'm gonna miss you. Me too, Al. No matter what anybody says, you'll always be a prince to me. They hug. The Sultan steps forward. That's right. You've certainly proven your worth as far as I'm concerned. It's the law that's the problem. Father. Well, am I the Sultan or am I the Sultan? From this day forth, the princess shall marry whomever she deems worthy. She smiles widely and runs into Aladdin's arms. Him, I choose you, Aladdin. Call me Al. They are about to kiss when a giant blue hand pulls everyone together. Genie is decked out in a Hawaiian shirt with golf clubs and a goofy hat. Oh, all of you, come here. Big group hug. Mind if I kiss the monkey? He kisses Abu. Oh, hairball. Well, I can't do any more damage around this popsicle stand. I'm out of here. Bye-bye, you two crazy lovebirds. Hey, Rugman, ciao. I'm history. No, I'm mythology. I don't care what I am. I'm free. The genie flies up to the blue sky, leaving a trail of sparkles behind him. They cut, a jump cut to make matters worse, to fireworks exploding over a nightscape. We tilt down and see Aladdin and Jasmine flying on carpet. A whole new world, a whole new life. Both say, for you and me, a whole new world. They fly off into the moonlight, and after they have disappeared, the moon turns and reveals the genie's laughing face. Suddenly the film is grabbed off the projector, and Genie lifts it up and looks at the audience. Made you look! He drops the film back to normal, with the normal moon. Fade to black. The end. Hey everyone, and thanks again for listening to Aladdin. This was the 1992 version, and make sure to subscribe to the channel so you never miss another video, and also hit the bell button if you'd like to receive notifications when a new movie reading is released. See you there.